And Alex Kadia now joins us from near the Gaza border with more on the story. Alex, Netanyahu says that there's going to be no ceasefire without the return of hostages. What's expected then from the ceasefire talks in Cairo?
Yeah, well, we know that the Israeli negotiating team has been given what the Israeli officials are describing as an extended mandate. They have given those negotiators more room to maneuver in the hopes of striking a deal. We know that officials have said that previously Benjamin Netanyahu's government had not given negotiators enough room to maneuver to get to a deal. We know that all the right players will be in Cairo. The head of the Israeli intelligence agency, the Mossad, Ronen Bar, the head of the security agency Shin Bet, and the deputy leader of Hamas, all present at these talks, mediated by CIA Director Bill Burns and Egyptian and Qatari intelligence officials. So in that sense, you have all the right people to strike a deal. But on paper, the two sides are still very far apart. We know that a previous proposal tabled by the United States, agreed by Israel, would have seen 40 vulnerable hostages, women, injured and elderly, released in exchange for 700 Palestinian prisoners, 100 of which are serving life sentences. Now, that deal had been rejected by Hamas because they say Israel does not want to allow civilians to return to northern Gaza. Northern Gaza, right behind me. I'm in the town of Sderot in Israel, but just back there is northern Gaza. At the moment, Israel says they will allow some civilians to return, but not the entirety and not without security checks. That's one of the sticking points. The other two is that Hamas wants a long-lasting, if not permanent, ceasefire and the full withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza. Clearly, those are two issues that the Israelis say are simply not acceptable to them. Nevertheless, all the right parties are in Cairo to try and hash out a deal.
Alex, then what's the ground situation like as the Israeli authorities see it? Netanyahu is also saying that the IDF has eliminated 19 out of 24 Hamas battalions. Tell us more.
Well, certainly there is a shift in the fighting at the moment. We know that almost all of Israel's troops are being pulled out of southern Gaza. They're leaving one brigade, about 4,000 men, to man a corridor that is between southern Gaza in that direction, and northern Gaza behind me, that corridor, to prevent those civilians and fighters and all Palestinians in Gaza from returning to the north of the enclave. And the IDF saying is a corridor for aid to go in. Now, we hear from US officials that withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza is just so that they can rest, and not because they're going to be redirected to another operation or the war is coming to an end, because Prime Minister Netanyahu himself has said that Israeli troops will go into the southern city of Rafah. That is where, as the Israeli government see it, they need to finish the job. But on that, they still need to figure out exactly how to do that operation, because the United States, Israel's biggest ally, says without proper planning, preparation and the full evacuation of civilians, there will be mass casualties, and therefore the Israelis are still working out a plan on exactly how to evacuate the civilians from Rafah. US officials behind the scenes say that'll take 4 months. Israeli officials say that'll take 4 weeks. So clearly, at the moment, Israeli troops being rested, pulled out of Gaza, but almost certainly going back into an operation in Rafah.
Alex Kadia from close to the Gaza border. Thanks very much for being with us.